What's going on, guys? I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. You're a returning subscriber as always, guys. Welcome back, and I do appreciate the support. I got tongue-tied for a second. Guys, I want to talk a little bit about a video I did and news that came out a couple days ago about fallen Dallas PD officer Darren Burks. May he rest in peace. And he lost his life at the hands of this young man right here. This is 30-year-old CoreyCobb-Bey. Now, I made the video, the first video I made about it, and I said some things about it, right? Which, I mean, I still stand by. But more information has come out, and I want to redo this video with more information to show you guys. And I think this is a very good video to do, especially because, you know, a lot of times I do these videos and it talks about the victims and then the people that do stuff to them. And a lot of times I mention in my dialogue after I show you a video, you know, you wonder about the parents, namely the fathers, and, you know, the people that didn't do the crime but are related to the person that did do the crime. Now, we all know Mr. Burks, or Officer Burks, was gunned down while he sat in his patrol car between calls when he was in uniform as a Dallas police officer. And if you guys have been keeping up with the story a little bit, you know that CoreyCobb-Bey, who claims to be a Moorish American, shout out to the Moors, was, you know, doing stuff out in the street, walking up to police officers, asking what business they're doing and why they're in his neighborhood and in the area, so on and so forth. It seems as though, you know, something's off. That why would somebody do this? You know, especially somebody that, you know, I know a little bit about the Moorish American faith. They promote love and respect for one another, sense of pride in who you are, and you know, just keeping a balance in your life. Why would somebody do something like this that puts them in a position to make other Moorish Americans look a certain way in the eyes of society? Well, I went back and I looked at a couple of videos that came up, you know, leading up to the timeline of when Officer Darren Burks lost his life, and I wanted to share them with you. The first video I want to show you guys is from the father, who talks a little bit about CoreyCobb-Bey and what kind of person he was and where he think the downfall started with him, or what could have caused such a tragedy. So take a look at this real quick. I mean, it's some interesting information. And in all honesty, I believe the man was raised right. He just took a wrong turn somewhere, and it led to all of this destruction. Take a look.
That sound like something your son would be involved in?
No. He's a truck driver too, and I don't know. I don't have any idea what happened. You know, what was going through his mind or whatever. But you know, he had just recently lost his job or something, and that might have taken a little toll on him. But that's basically, you know, all I know about that.
You were telling me that his behavior had changed in the last few days.
Yeah, it did. I don't know if because he was talking about he's into this Muslim stuff and all this stuff, and he kind of feel like somebody was chasing him, like the police was after him, you know, that day, and they didn't stop him or anything. But he's kind of on his Facebook page. I heard that he's talking about like demons or something like that. You know, I don't know, you know, how that came about.
That's not normal for him?
No, never normal for him.
Do you? Has he done, you know, is there any connection possibly to like drugs or something? That
I kind of think so. That's my thought on it. I think he might have smoked something that, you know, was laced with something or something like that, because he's never act anything like that.
And you said he had lost his job recently. When did that happen?
It's been about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
2 or 3 weeks ago. That's one thing I want to ask you. I mean, when you found out what they say he did.
Unbelievable. You know, I couldn't believe it myself, because he never behaved anything like that. He's always a, you know, loving person. Man, that was my baby boy, and he never, you know, disrespect anybody or anything like that. You know, that's why I don't know if it's the truth or not, but I just kind of think that he might have got a hold to some kind of bad drugs or something. You know, that's my thoughts about it.
Sir, anything else you think we should know, that folks should know about all this?
Well, he was never a bad person, though. Never. You know, he just went to work, and you know, he drove trucks too. He, you know, all up in Iowa and all that kind of stuff, and he, you know, was just not. He had been driving almost 2 years though, but he was a very good person to me. You know, that's basically it.
Emery, when you answer to Cole, when the community looks down on somebody that shoots officers and stuff, I mean, is it kind of hard to, when it's your own loved one that's
Right.
responsible? It's a weird thing. You don't
Yeah.
want to see anything bad to cops, right? But
Right.
when it's one of yours, it's kind of a mixed
How do you
feelings,
hold
right?
that in your head at the same time?
It's real hard right now because I can't. It's unbelievable that, you know, I don't know if they start chasing him or, you know, I don't know, you know, what actually happened, but I know he had guns in the car, and I guess after they put their lights on him, I guess he panicked and just went from there all the way.
There are going to be some folks who see this
Uh-huh.
and who say there's police officers dead, there are a couple others in the hospital,
Right.
and your son's the person who did it,
Right.
and you should have known better and you should have done something different. What would you say to someone who says that or thinks that?
Well, actually, I think I raised him up right. We had him in church and all this kind of stuff at the beginning, and he was, you know, on a healthy food diet and all this kind of stuff. And I think that, you know, I don't know if, because police are killing black kids all the time, and he might have got afraid or something like that, you know.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to say because I wasn't there.
Well, and it's hard,
Yeah.
it's hard to wrap your head around.
Right, and I don't know if they provoked him first or, you know, because, you know, he ride around the city all the time and he, you know, never have any problems. So, you know, I don't know what provoked that.
Mr. Emery, do you mind showing us that picture of him? You can just hold it up there and we'll get a shot of him. And you said, how old is he? 29?
Yeah. No, well, actually, he just turned 30.
Just turned 30.
Just turned 30.
Guys, you heard from the father, Mr. Emery Cobb, about, you know, having to answer the questions of why his son did what he did. And I got to be honest with you. And I mean, I'm honest with you guys on my channel. That's one of the reasons why I think my channel is growing the way it's growing, is because you're actually talking to a real person, not a fictional character for the screen, you know, presented before you. The reason why I'm doing this story again is seeing his father. It reminded me of the way I was raised a little bit. I talk about criminals a lot of times, you know, and I say things of they need to be this and they need to be shown the flowers and stuff like this. But a lot of times, a lot of people come from good backgrounds or parents that try to raise them the best way they can. Seeing this man, this is one of the things a lot of people that get in trouble and do crazy stuff need to realize. This guy's 30 years old, right? And he still can be succumb to influences that are negative, which lead to delusional thinking. Now, do I think this is part of him being in the Moorish American thing? No, I don't. Because, I mean, being around Moorish Americans, they don't think and act like that where they want to go and do harm to others. So let me clarify that right now. You know what I'm saying? That's something I didn't do in my last video. I want to clarify that, and I'm being dead honest with you. But did you hear, you know, the father, and just see how dejected he was? And that's what I want to capture in this video segment. The man said he raised CoreyCobb-Bey the best he could, had him on a good diet, you know, made sacrifices as a father, had him in church trying to give him some type of structure. And, you know, CoreyCobb-Bey was still staying there. at the house at 30. Said he don't know what led up to the situation of him losing his job, but he lost his job. He was a truck driver. So we got a little bit more intel about who this person was that killed Officer Burks. Now I'm gonna say something. CoreyCobb-Bey did what he did, which is evil. I'm being honest. It's wrong. But to have your father stand in front of the media dejected and have to answer questions of why you did what you did is wrong. And nobody that commits crimes ever think about the impact that it has on their family, let alone their father. That man right there, seeing that really choked me up, because that could be any of us that got grown children now that lose their way after we tried to set them up and give them the best of what we have inside of us and put it into them. The reason why this is striking me so much is because, for one, I wasn't always a good person. And I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, I was a good person, like around me and like, laughing, joking, and I'll do anything for you, get your shirt off my back. But I mean, inside, I was going through turbulence. I was battling a lot of demons myself prior to me going to prison that I never really talked about. I battled depression. I battled, anxiety. I couldn't hold a job because my driver's license was suspended. I didn't have any male counsel at the time. I don't know what the situation with them was, and I'm not putting that, but I'm just giving you my account that led me down the wrong path. I started getting into a victim mentality to where I felt as though every time, because I had a vehicle and I was like, I don't have a license. I have to go to work. I'm a diesel mechanic by trade. All of the jobs are outside of my city of Camden, New Jersey. So I had to go right into Hornet's Nest to get to work, different places. And people that know from New Jersey, especially Camden, know these places I'm about to name. I had to drive through Merchantville. I had to drive through Pennsauken. I had to drive through Cherry Hill. All different places in New Jersey where they profile you. They showed the one, if you've been keeping up with the story, in one of the news articles, they showed CoreyCobb-Bey say, put the camera, say, see them people follow me? It was like an unmarked police car or whatever. Them demons, they follow me. I had that type of thinking to where they're taught to profile and look for all discrepancies, and they just don't want me to drive. And then I turned that anger I had, instead of trying to fix myself, out into the world on the other people. I decided, you know what? If they want money so much, I'll go out here and I'll rob banks. And I'll give them the money that they say they want me to owe, that I unjustly am not supposed to, shouldn't have to pay. And that's what got me hemmed up. This story and the way he acts similarly reminds me of that. Did you hear what his dad said? He got in some Muslim stuff. The father doesn't even understand what he was into and couldn't understand the change going through his son at 30 years old. But he always went by his character. Men go by other men's characters, not their deeds, because your characters show through your deeds. You know what I'm saying? And it's just sad. But what I'm going to show you now, I want to switch over to Officer Darren Burks. And this is the sad part. This guy was loved by many. Had a good heart from what they showing. Just had a candle light vigil, and hundreds of people came up to show support, not just officers. Two different sides of the spectrum, but both people portrayed as good people, and now both of them gone. I want you to think about that. Two people loved, and they're both gone and out of here. And for what? Where does it leave us? Father's hurt, left to pick up the pieces and answer the questions that his son's not here to answer, of why he did what he did, which the father didn't understand his mindset at the time anyway. Officer Burks doing his job, made personal sacrifices to get him where he is for the betterment of him making a difference according to what God's plan was for him, and now he's gone. Take a look at this vigil and we'll come back.
24 hours since a deadly shooting in Dallas, and everyone is still processing what happened, from the police department to those officers' families and friends. Tonight, we're learning a lot more about the fallen officer and why he switched careers to join the force. Chief Eddie Garcia is sharing new details about the suspect's past, and we'll show you how an entire community came together tonight to honor those officers. Izzy?
Chris, let's first get you up to speed on what we've learned. This all started around 10 o'clock last night. Officer Burks was sitting in his squad car in between calls when the suspect walked up and shot him. 2 other officers were called to the scene, and that's when the suspect also fired at them. Senior Corporal Carissa David is still in the hospital tonight after the suspect shot her in the face. Senior Corporal Jamie Farmer is recovering at home. We've had crews covering this tragedy for more than 24 hours. Matt Howerton is outside Dallas Police Headquarters, but we start tonight with the emotional tributes. Jobin Paniker is at the site of the vigil for Officer Burks. Jobin?
Well, Cynthia, there were 2 vigils being held tonight for Officer Burks, put on by his fraternity brothers. That's how a lot of the news of his passing got passed around and is being felt very hard today.
They came here to say what many already knew.
What's up, brother?
That Darren Burks was one of a kind.
This is a witness of who he was.
The Dallas officer just feet from here was shot and killed while in his car while on duty.
The uniform made him that final hero.
In attendance were his fraternity brothers in royal purple, his brothers and sisters in blue, and so many others who would color Darren Burks the same way.
He was a shining example of how to do it the right way.
Darren studied at Paul Quinn College, went on to become a teacher, worked with kids before he decided to start his career as a police officer.
He never drank, he never smoked, he was high on life.
There was a place for Darren at this vigil.
So we wanted to make sure that we still represented his presence here.
His shoes, his hat, and also someone who was practically a sister.
I can't believe that this is happening. It's so unreal.
Known to so many people and by so many names.
Hallelujah.
But they say there was only one Darren Burks.
Oh, man. Consistent, never changed.
And as one speaker put it, he will be missed and not forgotten. In Dallas, I'm Jobin Paniker.
Thank you, Lord. We thank you.
Earlier tonight, we caught up with Officer Burks' fraternity brothers, and they told us why he made that career change after spending years in a classroom. He forged a lifelong bond with Frederick Bishop and Ken Frazier 20 years ago when they all pledged Omega Psi Phi at Paul Quinn College. Bishop is a former Dallas PD detective and recently helped his frat brother transition from teaching to police work.
I'm angry. I'm hurt. It's a little brother. Unprovoked. I think it was a coward move. Then I feel for his family.
Burks told Bishop some of the disruptive kids in his classroom were facing horrible circumstances in their communities, and Burks felt as if God was calling him to serve them in a different way.
Dallas Police Chief Eddie Garcia has described the shootings as targeted attacks. We want to bring in Matt Howerton now for where the investigation stands tonight. Matt?
Yeah, Izzy, Chief Garcia calling this an execution of Officer Burks. There's a squad car that's been parked outside DPD headquarters if you'd like to come by and drop off some flowers in a memoriam sense for him. But we learned so much about the suspect today, so much about who he was, and his social media footprint really gives an incredible look inside his mind in the days and weeks leading up to the shooting. Photos, videos, posts rooted in unfounded paranoia and also religious rhetoric.
You see, like these demons.
This 30-year-old CoreyCobb-Bey.
I'm telling you, bro.
The author of the worst tragedy DPD has seen in 6 years, and some answers to the question why.
Our officers were targeted for nothing more than the uniform they wear and for the brave and honorable job that they do.
Found on Cobb-Bey's social media. Here he is filming a drone in his area, calling it the devil. Video that was shot right before doing the unthinkable.
The suspect then pulled out a handgun and executed Officer Burks as he sat in his vehicle.
This 46-year-old Darren Burks, he was in his squad car in a parking lot off Ledbetter Thursday night between calls when Dallas Police Chief Eddie Garcia says Cobb-Bey approached the vehicle, shooting and killing him with little to no warning. Garcia says Cobb-Bey was filming the moment.
Is there any problem else?
Much like he did earlier this month, approaching an unmarked unit of officers, asking them why they were in his neighborhood. The gunfire captured on a nearby doorbell camera. A dispatcher sending 2 other officers to the scene to check on Burks when they heard an unusual sound on his radio. Both exchanging gunfire with Cobb-Bey when they were fired upon, Garcia says. Both were hit. One officer, Carissa David, hit in the face and still hospitalized. Cobb-Bey showing off a pistol and a shotgun with a high-capacity drum magazine on Facebook. Similar weapons police say they recovered after a chase with him that ended in Louisville after Cobb got out of his car and approached them with the shotgun. 6 Dallas officers shot and killed him.
Feel like somebody was chasing him, just like the police was after him.
Cobb-Bey's father says his son was acting strange the past few days. He had just lost his job. Police taking evidence from their home after the shooting.
Gave him his badge. I've been seeing a picture circulating around of me shaking his hand with his badge. He was so proud.
And this, the first officer to die in the line of duty that graduated the academy under Garcia. Speaking with Burks' mother, he made her this promise.
And that her son will be remembered as a hero.
In Dallas, I'm Matt Howerton.
Guys, that's the tale from both sides of what happened. Nobody knows what made CoreyCobb-Bey do what he did to Officer Burks and the other officers that survived. But the police video, another reason why I'm doing the video, the police video came out, the body cam footage came out today of when they caught CoreyCobb-Bey on the highway, and I want to show it to you. I'm gonna cut the part from him getting shot, out of respect for the family and all of this, different things. But I mean, I just wanted to do this video real quick, and I'll show you this, body cam footage in a second. But I just wanted to come on here and talk with you guys and let you know, even though I do these videos, I do still have a heart and I have understanding a lot of times for, things happen. People lose their way. Hell, every male, regardless of what color you are or where you come from, background-wise, our constant motive of man is to find our why and our way. Find out who we are. We're constantly searching for self. I say a lot of times in my videos, man is never satisfied. You can give somebody $40 million, they'll want 41. You can give somebody every car in the world, it still be something they covet. I mean, as long as the earth spins and day turns to night and we age every day, as our minds grow, so will our desires. And I just wanted to state that real quick before I get up out of here, because at any given time, something can happen in your life that triggers you to abandon all the things that you were raised and taught about. When I was in jail, my grandfather came and visited New Jersey. And I was so hurt that he didn't come see me in jail, but I understood it later on when he told me, hey, I didn't raise you and sacrifice a lot, everything to make sure you was in a safe space, not only in your mind, in your heart, for you to go and do what you did at your age. I went to prison. I went to jail when I was 27 years old. This guy just turned 30. 3 years ain't that much of a difference when you're an adult. You understand what I'm saying? So it's similar. It's similar. I was still trying to find my way. I had adult values and morals that I lived by until I got upset and started dealing with depression and stuff. And then all that goes out the window and you lose your mind temporarily. But the universe kept me here. And I understood that I had fallen off the path and got myself back on the straight and narrow according to, what direction I would be, how successful I wanted to be. And with all of the stuff I was doing out there, the universe found favor on me. And I remembered that, and I try to put the best of me out towards people I meet, my children, strangers, so on and so forth. This young man won't have that chance. He had a father in the house. He should have spoke with his dad a little bit more, in my opinion. And I think everything would have worked out all right. But as a man, sometimes you don't want to admit weakness. And a lot of times it's the downfall for a lot of us. I'm Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'm going to show you this video on the way out. Thanks for watching.
I will brief you on the details as we know them of the officer-involved shooting that occurred on August 29, 2024 in the 900 block of East Ledbetter Drive and the 1000 block of South Stemmons Freeway. This is the 5th officer-involved shooting involving a Dallas police officer in 2024. A preliminary investigation has determined that on Thursday, August 29, 2024 at 10:02 p.m., the suspect, identified as 30-year-old CoreyCobb-Bey, arrived in the 900 block of East Ledbetter Drive and parked his white Buick. At 10:04 p.m., Officer Burks arrived at the location and parked near the front entrance of the building between call assignments. Cobb-Bey approaches Officer Burks and talks with him briefly through the driver's side window as he apparently records the encounter with a cell phone. The suspect then pulls out a handgun and executes Officer Burks as he sat in his vehicle. At this point, a police dispatcher noticed an unusual transmission from Officer Burks' radio. The dispatcher attempts to contact Officer Burks, who does not respond. The dispatcher located Officer Burks via his GPS location and sends officers to check on him. Meanwhile, the suspect then goes back to his vehicle and takes out a shotgun, goes back to Officer Burks' squad car, placing the shotgun on the roof. At 10:11 p.m., Senior Corporal Jamie Farmer responds, pulls into the parking lot, and the suspect immediately fired a handgun at Officer Farmer. Officer Farmer returned fire and ran across the parking lot. The suspect grabbed the shotgun from the top of the squad car and fired one time toward Officer Farmer, who continued running. Officer Farmer was hit once in the leg. At 10:12 p.m., Senior Corporal Carissa David arrived and positioned her squad car at the entrance of the parking lot. The suspect ran towards Officer David and shot her multiple times as she exited her vehicle. Officer David returned fire and was shot in the face during the exchange. A sergeant arrived on the scene and saw Cobb-Bey standing near his vehicle. The sergeant directed the next arriving patrol element to follow the suspect, who fled westbound on East Ledbetter Drive and then northbound onto I-35. Patrol pursued the suspect into Louisville, and Cobb-Bey came to a stop on the expressway just north of 121 and exited his vehicle with the shotgun in his left hand. The suspect approached officers and pointed the shotgun at them. Officers Nathaniel Baker, David Lim, Corey Reed, Richard Pace, Vladimir Perez, Joel Portello all fired their department-issued firearms, hitting the suspect multiple times. Cobb-Bey died at the scene, and no officers were injured in this exchange of gunfire. Senior Corporal Farmer was treated and released from the hospital today, and Senior Corporal David remains in critical but stable condition. At this time, the investigation has determined that the shooting is premeditated, with detectives finding and collecting evidence on social media. At the Louisville scene, 2 shotguns were recovered. At the Ledbetter scene, a .22 caliber handgun was recovered along with a 9mm handgun used by the suspect. The investigation is ongoing and is being investigated by the Dallas Police Special Investigations Unit. The Dallas County District Attorney's Office were notified and responded to the scene and will conduct their own investigation. The Office of Community Police Oversight was notified. In an effort to be transparent, the Dallas Police Department is releasing the dash cam video footage of this incident.
Felony stop, guys. Guys, it's felony stop. Use caution. Got a door coming open. Use caution. He's looking back, still in the car, coming out with a weapon. Coming out with, nope, hands are up. He's got a weapon in hand. He's got a weapon in hand, walking back towards officers.